What is a brain shift? It started because there's so much health and wellness advice out there that often feels contradictory and confusing. A brain shift is a micro habit, one small action to take that feels good for you. Because nobody wants me to sit here and lecture and say, oh, girl, just eat some berries and breathe and everything's gonna be just fine, right? How many of us know, oh, the shoulda, woulda, couldas. I should be exercising more. I would eat healthier, but I travel. You know, I could stand to lose 10 more pounds. We all have the coulda, woulda, shouldas. It's not that. I typically go to the executive and just have them slow down for a minute and sit down, get to know them. And I ask them, what do you think your brain and body needs to feel better, to feel more productive, to feel like your best self? 9 times out of 10, I get at least one answer, typically 4, and they know directly exactly what they need. Oh, I'm not hydrating enough. I've been robbing myself of sleep. So I want that for leaders, is just take a moment of pause and say, what's one micro habit? We know from our research with the Busy Brain Cure, you just do one small action for yourself, it can have a massive positive reaction for your brain and your body and your spirit. That's the power of brain shift. It's the same idea. You pick one program for your company, one brain shift, and it can create an entire culture of wellness. Most people can just do 1 or 2, and they see this massive impact on reducing stress and burnout and the symptoms of stress and burnout. Not only the mental health symptoms, but even the physical symptoms.
A power of pause. Tell me a little bit about implementing that, just a little bit about what that kind of a scalable program might look like.
Yeah. The power of pause we created was, how are we teaching our employees to take a pause at work and a pause at home? So taking a pause at work was literally me teaching others, leaders, to practice mindfulness meditation at work, to take a 3 to 5 minute meditation. And then I made recordings for them so that they could download it quickly on their phone and play it for themselves before they were getting on a conference call or before any meeting, virtual or in person, or a stand-up meeting. We would lead a pause in English and in Spanish, and now in some of our hotels, even in Chinese. It's happening. So first of all, when you look at the neuroscience of meditation and controlled breathing, we know when done correctly, for a minimum of 3 to 5 minutes, we can start to change the channel of the brain, as I tell everybody, right? There's an operation center in the brain, our amygdala, hippocampus, temporal lobe, that not only starts that famous fight or flight response we all know about, but it impacts how our emotions are perceiving a threat in the room, anxiety in the room. And so as an individual, if I start that controlled breathing, I'm now focused internally on my brain and my body, this embodiment technique that's reminding me that no matter what's going on around me, before I control the situation, I can control my mind. So that's brain science number 1. But the beauty of this that we learn from sports psychology is that when a team has any kind of ritual that is mental and physical, they're more likely to succeed at their goal, winning at the game, improving their free throw percentage rate, whatever that goal was as a team. So we thought, we're going to introduce this as a team. And what was the feedback that we got? Our leaders, our general managers, our directors of sales were telling us, you know, the meetings no longer were hijacked by that one talkative person. Or now the introvert felt more comfortable to speak up at the meeting. The meetings were shorter and everybody felt like they were heard. And we all were laughing and I got to know each other. And it was because the meeting didn't start with an agenda or one person hogging the conversation. Everybody was changing the channel of their brain to calm and focus.
You bring up a very important point that I think many CEOs are trying to manage today, and that is the call for flexibility.
Yes.
And in an effort to address the request for flexibility from employees, they are structuring it as either fully remote, hybrid, or in the workplace. Is that the answer to the question on flexibility, or is flexibility actually a different request?
When I hear flexibility as a complaint or showing up in associate opinion surveys or data we're collecting with our consulting clients, for me, flexibility, they're addressing one small portion of it, which is operational issues, right? But every company is different on ability of employees to be working remote, hybrid, or in person. When somebody says flexibility, it's telling me two things. The company doesn't care about my mental well-being or care about me. So the example that I used was someone needs to feel safe that they can have a flexible schedule, that if something else in life is creating stress, they're not going to lose their job over having to miss a day of work because they're a caregiver for elderly parents, or a child is sick, or they need to leave early to go see their therapist. There's this call for, I need you to see me and hear me and believe in me that I'm going to show up for work. But hey, I'm modeling to you, leader. I need to take care of my brain, my body, and my team. My team may be my family. And I need you to be flexible and do the same for us.
That's a really important distinction, that it's not so much about the consistency of policy around hours and where you perform the hours. It's about the nuance of listening and responding to an individual's need to meet their mental health and life balance.
Yeah. Now, I've heard this so often as a chief wellness officer at a company where someone needed to leave for a family, medical reason, and they were told by a leader, by me, please do take the day off or tend to that. And then what did they say? Thank you. Thank you for honoring my boundaries, that I needed time off from work to address this important life or health issue. But what else are they doing? They're now going and telling all their other team members, my company, my leader cares for me. This is how we build a culture of wellness that's addressing mental health.